Hello, it's you, One World. Today I take up this topic. Why is your vocal just crazy? Part 1. On this video, I'm going to give some useful advice for singer wannabes or singer-songwriter wannabes. I am also self-producing singer-songwriter. Although I have just started this YouTube channel and it's before growing up, I'm getting tens of thousands of listeners on SoundCloud and Spotify by my vocal songs, so I can tell something to you. When we begin to create own vocal songs for the first time, the first obstacle is always the quality of vocal. Even if you are getting high reputation about your voice by parents, friends, or school teachers of music, or even if you are always getting high level of scores on karaoke machines, once you started recording and creating own songs, at first you will be so shocked, because the outcome will be far from what you imagined. That feeling is near a huge despair. You compare your singing with professional singers like Taylor Swift or Coldplay, then you will find out one severe reality. Your vocal is just crazy. I think many singer wannabes are being knocked out by this very first stage, and started to think like, I'm so less talented. I can never be like professional singers. They are different from me, from the genes level. Otherwise, even if you are still positive about your potential, your stubborn mother and father will start to say like, give up, boy, listen to your awful vocal. You will never be Michael Jackson. That's impossible. Then shocked, you are going to lean toward giving up the dream and start to concentrate on studying for university. Millions of boys and girls would have experienced this kind of things. But I dare say, when it comes to vocals, usually there is so big room for improving for everybody. Basically, singing is not a matter of talent, but a matter of training and experience. If you went through piles of training, which every singer experienced, you would definitely get some kind of good vocal, which works as a professional. Oh, I'm not soliciting you for music world with sweet talk. It's just truth. So why is your vocal crazy? Or why does your vocal sound crazy now, compared with commercial songs by professional singers? Where does the craziness come from? Here I suggest some typical reasons for craziness in vocals. I show you several points, then you can analyze your vocals by yourself. Of course, I will tell you how you can solve that problem, so you can tackle with your own problem by yourself. Vocal is the thing that differ from person to person, so the problems of the very first stage also vary, depending on person. But in the world of professionals, a good vocal always satisfies a certain quality. In other words, even if those vocals sound unique or edgy for general listeners, that vocals are surely surpassing some standard quality in the professional world. For beginners, it might be difficult to make out the difference between professional unique vocals and amateur poor vocals, but surely a kind of criterion exists. To say unique and edgy vocals of professional singers are completely different from an amateur's just odd vocal. If you are aiming at some curious vocals, that's okay, you may succeed with that vocal in the future. But even in that case, you must learn the basic training of vocals which everybody experiences, and achieve a certain level if you truly wanted to be a professional singer. I recommend you not to easily think like, my vocal is a bit odd but can be heard unique so it should work. That doesn't work. You will soon be disappointed by the reputation you will get. So the first reason for vocal craziness. The timings of vocal notes are out of the points which they should be. Have you ever played music game? Like Dance Dance Revolution or Stepmania? There are so many such kinds of games on App Store. On such a game, if you missed the timing of notes, you would get bad scores. Singing is the same as that. If you missed the perfect timing of each note, that vocal sounds very odd and is simply uncomfortable. This problem is highly related to whether you are correctly catching the rhythm of that song or not. Western music is basically composed of quarter notes, eighth notes, 16th notes, and triplets. Here I omit detailed explanation of them, because you can research on Google about them. When you sing, actually, your vocal notes are always some of these. So, at least you have to keep in mind those concepts in singing. If you are having difficulty with catching the rhythm of a song, the best training is to catch a rhythm by your body. For example, to hand clap in accordance with that song's quarter notes, eighth notes. This is very useful to understand rhythms. Another way of rhythm catching training is definitely music game. I myself have played music game for years when I was younger, Then I nurtured my sense about rhythm. That was really helpful for my career as a musician. To tell the truth, in the professional vocal processing, we do adjust and arrange every vocal note to exact timing where they are beautifully heard, so you don't have to care too much about slight mistakes of singing timing when recording. But surely you had better to make a best effort to sing in a perfect timing every time. If you continue this effort, your singing skills will be dramatically improved. The second reason for vocal craziness. The pitches of your singing are incorrect. This is the biggest matter that everybody faces. Even a beginner, it is easy to recognize if the pitches are incorrect. Such a song simply sounds poor. So why can't you sing correctly? Is it a matter of talent? A matter of genes? No, it's just because you don't have enough muscles of vocal cords for singing. We use vocal cords when we let out voice. Vocal cords are composed of hundreds of tiny muscles. Now, you can't sing perfectly because you didn't train vocal cords well. Training vocal code for singing is a very specific task for humankind. Usually we don't learn it at public schools. And it's also different from the way of choirs of school clubs. This is the very core in improving your vocal. But today I omit detailed things about this vocal training. Today I want you to remember that this is a matter of muscle training. In other words, it's the same as workout in a gym. At first, you cannot bring up heavy barbells, but if you continued workout, someday you come to get it done. Similarly, if you continue vocal cords training, someday you will surely become able to sing beautifully, even Taylor Swift's song. Everybody can do this. On this point, I recommend you to go to vocal school and get some lessons, if you have a chance. Actually, this is the best way. There are so many approaches in nurturing vocals, but the basics is the same. Vocal is the thing that varies from person to person. By just watching YouTube, you cannot analyze your own problem. School teachers can find out your vocal characteristics and give you exact advice what your vocal is needed. That's definitely the best way to become vocal professional. The third reason for vocal craziness. Your pronunciation is not good. In what language are you singing? English, French, German, Spanish? Because I am singing in English. Here I focus on singing in English. But this would be common matter in other languages. You must take this thing into account. To speak English fluently is one thing, to sing in English perfectly is another thing. Even if you are a native English speaker with beautiful accents, to sing lyrics in accordance with melodies is a very tough thing. In many cases, pitch collapses or pronunciation collapses. Or just your breath can't last. Why? Because we use different muscles of vocal cords when singing. This is also a muscle matter. Unless you train your muscles of vocal cords well, you can't sing beautifully even if you are a native English speaker. This is the reality. For non-native speakers of English, it would be a much tougher thing to sing in English. We have dialects of native tongue, then it will also be reflected to the way of singing. As a result, your vocal easily falls into something like odd and crazy French English or German English song. When you submit such a song to playlisters or famous producers, despite you saying very emotionally, you will get a comment like, "Sorry, your vocal is just poor and not promising. I can't hear this." In such a case, the first thing you must tackle with is your dialect. You have some specific dialect which derives from your native tongue. You have to overcome it. This problem is coming from not only the lack of muscles of vocal cords, but also the way to use tongue, the way to open mouth, or the structure of your throat. Actually, it's a very fundamental problem. I mean, you may have to go back to the textbook of your primary school and correct your pronunciation from ABC level. And this cannot be fixed in a few days. It takes months or a year. Then, when you sing, you must try hard to sing in smooth English in all notes. Not 80% or 90%. 100%. If you had even just 3 or 4% of odd accents within your song, listeners can feel uncomfortable. Playlisters or producers may reject your song just because of accents of a few words. It looks too rigid, but the world of professionals is always such a thing. There are so many singers with beautiful voices other than you. You should avoid getting point deduction in such a basic point like pronunciation. Lastly, I have to add this. There are two big trends in English: British English and American English. Then, which should you choose when singing? The answer is very clear. American English. Why? Is it because the US is bigger than the UK? No, that's a technical matter. These days, almost all of professional singers are singing in American accent. The reason is simple. American accent is so smooth that singers can sing beautifully. British accent is noble and so cool, but when it comes to singing, it's very hard. Have you ever tried that? It somehow sounds odd. Singers of some specific genre, like grime or British hip-hop, are using British accent. But generally, even British singers like Coldplay or Adele are using American accents when they sing. So if you wanted to correct your accent from now on, it's better for you to fully adjust to American accent. And you should standardize your singing accent to general American accent, not half British and half American accent. Such a mixture can also sound odd. It's going to be a long talk, so I finish here today and continue this theme next time. Bye.